Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spooky AF. My name is Rob, and today I'm joined by my co-host Suze. How are you, Suze?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here for the longer days. I'm very much enjoying them. How about you, Rob?
I am thoroughly just loving the good weather that we've finally had. Our like week of summer that we've had.
And it's probably going to be our only week of summer, knowing Ireland.
Yeah, most likely. But God, do we really go at it when the summer does come here?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's a beautiful thing to just see the entirety of Ireland wear as little as possible and just day drink.
Oh, I mean the sheer like anywhere there could potentially be a human gathering, there is a human gathering, like in tank top shorts and like having like either like a Guinness or like an Aperol spritz or something.
Look, we know how to do it. Like we make up for it because we know what we don't have for about 360 days of the year. So
it's true. It's absolutely true.
I've also been loving have you seen this Dublin portal to New York?
Yes, but did you see the this is why we can't have nice things. My husband showed this to me last night. So somebody held up their phone to it and it was broadcasting to New York, and somebody held up their phone and it was just a picture of like the Twin Towers falling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
exactly
I was
what
like,
I was thinking.
I was like, this is why humans can't have nice things.
Yeah, it's true. I also loved that within, I think, an hour or two of it being installed, someone went up and held up their phone on the Dublin side, naturally, and they held up under screen, and it just had the word wankers written across it and just put it up in front of the camera.
I support that one. That one's fair.
You just can't trust people in Dublin, Being
no.
from Dublin myself, I speak for all of Dublin, apparently, where you just can't trust us.
I've lived here, actually, we're only a few months out from me being here for 6 years.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah, I will stand behind that. I live here, love Ireland, but I wouldn't trust Dubliners as far as I could throw them.
No, absolutely not. But it's been great. It's been an absolute joy to see all the memes that have come out of it. Not for any good reasons, because
oh god, no.
It's the funny shit that is what I'm there for. But yeah, apart from the the Dublin portal memes and the phenomenal weather we've been having, that's basically been it for me for the last few days. It's been nice change of pace.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so unused to the good weather, actually, that I went out in a black t-shirt yesterday to go for a walk, like my favorite Buffy t-shirt, and I was like, oh shit, I grew up in Texas and I am making schoolgirl errors here. Like,
yeah, you really are.
Yeah. But okay, so before we get started though, I have to raise a subject with you.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, I went and saw with a friend have you seen the trailer for the film Abigail?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of it, but I've not seen the trailer or anything.
Okay, I would actually say don't watch the trailer. Like, going cold.
Oh god. Right.
Yeah, I would say going cold, but like we went and saw it and it's hilarious, and it's kind of I would classify it as a horror comedy, but it like revels in its like gore. And the funniest thing was, you'll notice, so it's filmed in Ireland. It's actually it was filmed in Dublin, like down the road from where I live.
No way, really?
Yeah, and there's a scene, but it's set in America. Like the characters are American.
Right. Okay.
And so there's a scene where they're driving down the Keys, and like clearly everyone else on the planet is just be like, oh, random city in America, whereas everyone in the theater was like, Dublin. They're in Dublin.
That's oh my god. Right, okay.
Because like they go by like the Halfpenny Bridge.
Oh like, Jesus. Okay. Right.
So yeah,
fair.
Anyway, I highly recommend it. It's super gory, super fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
All right, I might have to check it out then. That definitely sounds like something that I'd probably enjoy. So I'll definitely have to give it a watch at some point. I might not pay money to go see it though. I might wait for it to come out on streaming or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I also saw before we get started that there is like a full on remake or reboot of the Blair Witch coming out.
Shut up.
Yeah, full on reboot.
But what? How? Okay, I have what?
Yeah. I that's all I really know. It's just that they are working on like a proper reboot, and I believe they may have gotten on the original people to maybe even just kind of advise on it or help with it. I'm not fully certain about that, but yeah.
I slightly worry about that because I think part of the genius of the first one was them, was the whole, like, you know, they did all that ad campaign stuff around, like, is this really found footage? Like, were these real people? And it was kind of in a, like, the early internet.
Yep.
And so people,
all the missing persons posters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and people weren't as, you know, I don't know. I just thought that was, like, I remember at the time it having a really creepy atmosphere even before you, like, went and saw the film.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's kind of some of the, like, magic about it. And I'd be kind of afraid that it would get a bit lost, but I'm definitely here for it regardless.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm 100% going to see it. But...
Yeah, like, I do love the Blair Witch films, so I definitely will be checking it out. But yeah, I heard that and I was kind of going, like, what year is it?
Well, I found when I went and saw Abigail, one of the trailers was for, they're doing The Strangers, like, chapter 1. So it's like how the strangers became the strangers.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and it looks, I mean, I find the film The Strangers to be, like, horrendously terrifying.
Yeah.
So
because it is.
It is. Well, and it all comes down to that one line of, like, why are you doing this? And because you were home. And I'm like, I'm home a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, they're like releasing a kind of a origin story for it. So I wonder, so that might be worth a watch.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, keep an eye out for that. And the Blair Witch.
Yeah,
we'll see how they both go. Grand. Well, look, that's some lovely movie chat before we get started on this episode. I said to you before we started recording, I have no idea how this episode is going to go, and I maintain that now, just as I'm about to come into the introduction to it.
I don't know what to expect, and so I'm sitting here with my coffee, kind of questioning things.
This is a different one for me, is all I'll say.
Okay.
So. I'm going to talk today about something that I'm going to be honest, I remember at the time that this came out and I found it very interesting and was kind of engrossed in it, and then proceeded to forget about it then for quite a while, and now only recently remembered it again. And it's kind of shocking to me that this was 9 years ago, or nearly 9 years ago, that this happened. So you're going to have to deal with me kind of coming to terms with the fact that this was nearly a decade ago.
Right.
Well, because I genuinely thought as I was researching this, it was like, oh, it was only about 3 years ago.
Well, we all know that, like, time since COVID just is just ridiculous. So
well,
I
true.
Understand.
Yeah, the 80s are still 20 years ago, to be fair.
100%.
So to set the scene, in August 2015, a user on Reddit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just starting out strong.
Posted on the No Sleep subreddit. I'm a search and rescue officer for the US Forest Service. I have some stories to tell.
Oh my God.
Right. And for anyone who isn't aware, No Sleep is generally, it's a subreddit. Basically, it's a horror writing subreddit. One of the largest subreddits on Reddit. It's got 18 million members currently.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, actually mad. Kind of broke my brain a little bit with how many people are on it. And what went on in this post basically was this person who said that they were a search and rescue officer or ranger, talking about some strange things that they've seen in the woods. So, you know, bodies being found and stuff like that. That's actually believable stuff, unfortunately.
Right.
Children going missing, all that sort of things. Dogs kind of like acting weird on walks and all that sort of stuff. But the standout kind of story that came out of this was someone talking to them about, so basically like another ranger allegedly said to this guy, so the way that it's kind of like described to you is that it's this guy, he's kind of like new and he's starting out on the job basically.
Yep.
And he was getting advice from this other ranger basically saying, if you're ever out in the woods and you see a staircase, don't walk up it.
I love this so much. I am so on board with this.
So I'm assuming you've not heard of this.
No, but it sounds like so terrifying. I'm all over it.
Amazing. So, yeah, basically it was do not walk up the staircase. Don't look at them. Don't engage with them in any way. Basically just if you see them, avoid them. Don't let anything happen to them. And that was it. So there's kind of multiple stories kind of after that of like different things, but it was the staircase thing that seemed to really like capture people's attention.
Yeah.
And this kind of spawned this insane, like, and I mean insane, series of posts online from different people all talking about coming across stairs in the woods and basically talking about it like, yeah, no, I've seen stairs in the woods and I've always felt that they were strange or things like that, and there's something inherently wrong with them. And like, I am not just talking like a few posts here, I am talking like hundreds of people posting online saying that they've seen stairs in the woods and like taking pictures, and I'll send some to you, Suze, of it's literally just random staircases in the woods, like just run down staircases. It almost looks like a house has basically just been like lifted away and the staircase has remained.
Oh, that is so uncanny valley. Oh my god.
Yeah. So the staircases in the woods, they as I said, they seemingly just seem to rise from the ground and ascend upwards with no other structure or building around them. And naturally, they're most often reported to be seen at night and appear to be built out of nowhere. And interestingly, the staircases also vary in design from kind of a spiral staircase to straight, and they can be made from different materials. So some have said that they've seen like marble staircases. Others have said concrete, and others have said wood. Yeah, so it is a bizarre phenomenon that I am going to touch on today. And as I said, I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. But
I mean, I'm just from what you've said, like, I am genuinely creeped out. Like, I'm just imagining like walking. I mean, the woods in themselves are like, can hold the capacity to be some of the creepiest places on earth, but then like coming across something that it's a bit like, yeah, it's something that like shouldn't be there, but it yet is something that's so normal and so identifiable, and you're like, why the fuck is it there? Like,
yeah. And that's the thing. So like, it's, as you said, I think you perfectly got it with, it's that uncanny valley sort of thing of these shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And yet they are.
Yeah.
And like the way I saw someone kind of, I saw a post online discussing it, and it was on an article, and it was talking about how, put yourself in this position of, imagine hiking through an incredibly dense forest surrounded by trees, sounds of nature, all that sort of stuff. Everything seems very peaceful and serene. And then out of nowhere, you stumble upon a set of stairs just standing alone in the middle of the wilderness.
Like, I have two. So like, one of them is like, this sounds like it could be an SCP article.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah. Like 100%, like Keter level, like cannot contain, all that. And so, and I hope our audience gets that reference and is aware of that. But also I have this problem where I like to think I would be very smart in horror films, having like studied them and things and enjoying them. But I know myself well enough that if I come across like either like a fantasy portal or something like a staircase in the woods, I'm fucking climbing it. Like, you can't stop me. You can't hold me back.
Well, that's it. So the interesting thing about this kind of these stories and things talking about the staircases is, naturally there's kind of a more grounded theory on what they are.
Yeah.
Some people basically just say that these are just kind of the remnants of abandoned structures, and that they're, from like decades ago or whatever, and that there could have been buildings or cabins in the wooded areas that have been destroyed or decayed, and the stairs is all that remains.
Right.
Which doesn't really track, because, like I said, someone said there that they saw a marble staircase in the woods.
Also, like, the staircase of a house is not like the black box of a plane.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. That's my point. Like, is like, yeah, absolutely, a marble staircase that will definitely last. But like, you would see a structure still from a house that remained, because if someone has a fucking marble staircase, you can imagine the house is quite large. That would have stood there.
Yeah, and it's not just like a wooden cabin with a marble staircase.
No, exactly. So yeah, it's a bit kind of a bit strange. So I'm gonna send you one image so far.
Okay.
Of the sort of thing, so you can kind of get an idea, a hint of what we're talking about today.
Oh no, don't like that at all. Oh no.
Yeah.
also like no, everything about that is upsetting. The like, when you get to the top, it's like barricaded after like the little platform that you at the top, and I don't know, that just, nope, not into that.
Yep. So this is basically a set of staircase. It's a staircase, but it has like an unusual design to it, to say the least. Going up into the woods.
It looks like it could be like a military installation, maybe.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, so it kind of, and I will post this, but for anyone that's listening that doesn't see it, it almost kind of looks like an escalator, that kind of style.
It definitely wasn't in like a normal home. Like that can't
No,
have been a
definitely
staircase
not.
in a home.
Definitely not. So that's the sort of thing that we're dealing with is random staircases appearing in the woods. Other ones are a lot more kind of like stone structures that you could viably believe like did appear, like that there probably was a house around it or something. And
Yeah, okay, yeah, that one's much more like there was something there before.
Yeah.
Well, because I was like, so my mom's house, like we have like a field behind our house,
Okay.
and it used to have other houses there, and so you can like so you can kind of see some of the like a few of what looks like the second picture you sent, basically like some like concrete steps that would have led to a front door.
yeah.
But yeah, that first picture is well weird.
It is very strange. It's yeah. I just when I see them, like that first picture I sent to you, and as I said, I will post it online. It feels unsettling.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's it's a strange one. So anyway, so these pictures all started appearing online around this time. So it was like this no sleep story seemed to just kind of set off this like bomb basically of people posting their own experiences online and their own theories, their own pictures, all that sort of stuff. So as I said, the first set of theories is that they're just from abandoned structures and that's it. That they're, nothing to see here. It's just a staircase in the woods. There was something else here beforehand. It's gone now. For some reason, the stairs remain.
Yeah.
Now let's get on to the interesting theories.
Oh, buckle up, let's go.
Yeah. So to start off, there's accounts of people when they arrive or come across these staircases that they immediately feel this overwhelming sense of dread or that they're being watched after encountering the staircases.
Okay.
And they keep saying that this feeling kind of like follows them afterwards. So it's not even just in the vicinity of the staircases, but it's actually after they leave, they still feel the sense of dread or that something is watching them.
Oh, they're being called.
Yeah, for some reason, that theory or that kind of experience, it doesn't sit well with me because I don't like the idea that something has like latched onto you, basically.
Oh no, that's one of your things about demons is the kind of the well, and it reminds me of a real life or like people's experience of the Magnus archives with the coffin.
Yes, yeah, that's very similar actually. Yeah, that's maybe
like,
why it's standing out to me, but
exactly, and that's another instance of like staircases where they shouldn't be.
oh shit, yeah, it is as well actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. I didn't think about that. I didn't make that connection. Yeah, but it does give off, you're right, I think it does give off that kind of like demon vibe of it, like it's tricked you and now it's like latched onto you or something.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that one, to be perfectly honest with you. I would rather just be straight up haunted by something, not have this overwhelming sense of dread and that something is watching me.
You like it to be straightforward, like come out and throw something at me.
Yeah, 100%. Like as a millennial who's already gone through what 3 once in a lifetime
Yes.
things like recessions and pandemics and all. There's already an overwhelming sense of dread there. I don't need something latching
more.
on as well.
Like I have my own mental demons, like leave me alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I just need a ghost to punch me in the face. Like I don't need it to be like playing mind games. I'll win.
Yeah, like if I see the spirits, it's grand. Like I can deal with that.
Yes, exactly. Like Satan flying through the roof of a house. Great. That's fine.
That's something I can manage. I can manage that. I can deal with that.
We're such millennials.
Yeah. Yeah. Asking the demons nicely to just haunt us, like straight up haunt. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like we all have the poltergeist of mental illness. Can you please not add to that?
yeah. Yeah. And if you don't, that's actually just really rude.
Yeah, exactly. I feel triggered and targeted.
Yeah, you're being a bit of a Debbie Downer right now, and I'm not here for that.
Good vibes only.
Yeah. So yeah, to say that this demon didn't pass the vibe check is an understatement.
Is an understatement. God. Okay, so tell me more. Tell me more about stairs.
So yes, there's that feeling of overwhelming dread. Then other stories have told of individuals who've actually decided to climb the stairs.
Yes.
And as they climb up the top of the stairs, they begin to feel this experience of like disorientation. Some have described how they've missed large chunk of time. Or, and a big or, some have claimed to have been transported to other places by walking up the stairs.
Okay, now I just fully believe you're reading an SCP article and you're just punking me.
No, I honestly wish, like, that would be easier. To be perfectly honest with you. This is what I was saying about this. I wasn't sure how it would land. Because it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I think the thing for me so far, just for like a recap, I find the staircases to be super creepy and uncanny, and I find that like yeah, feelings of dread and all that. But I think, I don't know, the teleporting to a different place is like the moment when the horror film jumps the shark.
Yeah, I completely agree. So this is what we kind of have to do in looking at this story. It's acknowledging that it started out effectively as a creepypasta on No Sleep, but its people have since added their own stories to it, and those are the stories that people are saying, like, no, this is actually my experience.
Right.
So it's a weird kind of scenario where you're dealing with the origin of it being straight up fiction, but it's the kind of fallout from it is people adding, going like, no, this is not fiction. Like, I actually have my own experiences of this.
But then it's also a bit like we were talking about Blair Witch. It can also be a bit even more meta if that person is, because like there could like legitimately be a person who's saying like, this is my experience, and like, you know, they give this kind of wild or outlandish explanation of what's going on, but then they are also like in on it, like they are also telling a story. Exactly. But they're contributing to the like the paradigm of what's going on here, and so it's
exactly
yeah.
So it's up to us today to determine what we think is
so
real.
We get to be like, we are like judicial arbitration, like we decide what is or what isn't, and I'm
absolutely. So I feel like we've already come down on the like teleportation as being a no from us today.
Also, I would be more intrigued by the idea of teleportation if they had said like, I was like teleported or I saw into like a hell dimension. I would have been more on board with it, but the fact that they just appeared somewhere else, I'm like, oh, that's a bit lame.
Yeah, that's fair. That's more than fair. So I do have some other, before I kind of go into the more out there sort of accounts of what's happened. There are actually some kind of like historically famous examples of some of these stairs.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll touch briefly on some of them. So so there, as I said, there's historical examples of this. So in the Etruscan region of Italy, there's what's known as the Etruscan Pyramid of Bomarzo.
Okay.
And it's a large stone megalith with stairs that lead to a small platform at the top. And it's been dated to the 7th century BCE.
Okay.
But no one actually knows what took place on the steps. I'll share this with you as well, but no one actually knows like what the fuck these stairs were used for. And as someone who has an archaeology degree, I feel like I can weigh in here slightly and say, yeah, like if scholars are kind of saying like they don't know, like people will obviously say like, oh, it was probably for like a ritual or something like that. It most likely was.
But, yeah, it's interesting. They're kind of wonky stairs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, these stairs are just there. There's no other structure around it. It's just these stairs just in the middle of this forest, basically. So people don't know what was going on here. Like there is some evidence to say that sacrifices maybe took place at the top of these stairs, but they don't know why. So that's a very real example of like a historical example there.
Okay.
And then in Cambodia, there's a 2,000 foot long abandoned staircase which ascends to the Phnom Kulen mountain, and experts have kind of dated it to sometime between the 9th and 13th centuries.
Okay.
But they have absolutely no idea who built it or why. Ooh. So people think that it could be an ancient path to what's now an abandoned or destroyed city in the jungle.
Right.
Which I kind of love. That tickles the Indiana Jones scratch in my head.
Yeah.
But people aren't 100% certain why this is here, because it doesn't seem to lead anywhere.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. They're kind of, they are more kind of ruined than the Etruscan ones.
Yeah.
And the jungle has kind of reclaimed them. But,
yes, absolutely.
I'm just thinking, like, especially with these historical ones as well, but, like, I'm thinking, I just had the thought, like, maybe it's the whole idea, even if these staircases were like the last remnants of a structure that is like completely gone. I think even that in of itself is very creepy, because I'm like, staircases are kind of a liminal space. Like they're just used to travel to somewhere else.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So the idea that you would have one and it goes nowhere is inherently creepy. Like the example I'm thinking of is something that I would probably be interested in doing an episode on in the future, would be like the Winchester Mystery House in California.
Oh god, yeah, that would be phenomenal.
But like, to me, the scariest part of that house is there's a staircase that just goes into the ceiling.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Oh yeah, and it's just the creepiest thing. It's called the staircase to nowhere.
Fantastic.
And to me, that is like the most like weird and liminal and fucked up thing about that house. Well, one of them. There's a few things, but like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a grab bag, but yeah. So I just these historical, like the mystery around what these were used for, why, and like it makes sense that people would be like, but you don't have a staircase for no reason.
Exactly.
And we'll fill in any reason. Like we'll even be like, oh, human sacrifice, in order to give it a reason.
Yeah, to give it a purpose. Because, I think we just can't deal with the fact that this is here and we don't know why. And I'm going to give you another example now, which is 100% my favorite, just absolute favorite story here. There's nothing inherently paranormal about this, but I had to share it.
Okay.
So, we're talking about a set of staircases called Madame Cherie's Stairs.
Okay.
So, in Chesterfield, New Hampshire, a set of stairs in the woods has basically got this, like, legendary reputation. As I said, this isn't really a mystery, but I have to share this because of the story. So, the story behind it is that during the 1920s, a Parisian music hall singer known as Madame Antoinette Cherie
Amazing.
organized to have a castle built in the woods of Chesterfield to serve as one of her summer retreats.
That woman is an icon.
So it didn't boast, it's not basically, as I saw described online, it didn't boast the dimensions of a true castle. However, it was the size of a rustic French chateau with a stone staircase built into the house, complete with Roman arches that led to the second floor.
Oh, that bitch was living her best life.
And she used this house to hold lavish parties. And this is the quote that got me. Rumors have said that scandalous things went on there.
Of course they did.
So some have theorized that she supplemented her income by operating as a real madame in business.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently she had many beautiful ladies in her home.
Amazing.
But when the madame fell into poverty, she abandoned the chateau. And then, unfortunately, in 1962, the castle, chateau, whatever you want to call it, burnt down. And only the stairs remain today. And I'm going to send you the stairs now.
Okay.
Like, knowing the story behind it.
Oh my god.
I love them so much.
Okay, I love everything about that story.
Yeah.
I wish my life were like a quarter that interesting.
Oh my god, like, I was reading that and I was like, that basically, I was kind of on the fence about this episode until I read that story and I was like, this has to be now recorded.
The feminine urge to run away, build a castle, and maybe run a brothel is really there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I love how they're just known now as Madame Cherie's Stairs.
Oh, yeah, oh, for sure. What a legacy.
I know, absolute, just 10 out of 10. Absolutely would do again.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
She made death proud to take her.
She 100% did. So that's kind of where we are with historical examples. So I'm going to pivot back now to some of the urban legends on these stairs as a way to kind of finish out this episode.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say right now, I know I'm gonna lose you on this, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
So
this is the bit where I'm like, I'm gonna nope out.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm aware now that this, that this is where we lose you, and that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you 3 examples that have come out online since that Reddit story happened, and then I'm going to close out then with the conclusion to the stair part of that Reddit story as well, so you know where it all kind of ends.
Okay.
So, legend 1. In the Philippines, there is reportedly a staircase in the forest. and it's known as the Staircase of Missing Time.
Ooh.
So there is a ranger in a forest there. His name is Torkik, I believe. And he is tasked with searching for missing people in the jungles. So I believe this is actually, unfortunately, quite a common occurrence in the Philippines, that people go missing in jungles all the time.
Yep.
So, yeah, so the jungles and forests in this kind of region tend to be dense and difficult to safely navigate. And it was allegedly during one of these routine patrols, effectively at this point, that Torkik was experiencing, that he claimed that he found 2 staircases that led deep into the forest.
Okay.
So, out of curiosity, he decided to walk up them and said that his logic was, at the very least, I'll be up higher, so I'll be able to see more in the jungle anyway.
Okay.
So the first staircase was stone and it had decorative carvings on it. Mm-hmm. And the second staircase looked more natural. So it was kind of put together with like natural stones from the immediate area. Mm-hmm. Torkik, he said that he didn't see any sign of the missing backpackers that he was looking for. But he did, when he was kind of approaching the stairs, saw a stray dog that appeared to be vicious.
Ooh.
So as a way of avoiding the dog, he decided to like run up the stairs to kind of put some distance between him and the dog.
Yep.
So, yeah, he got to the top, didn't say anything, and that was fine. So, when he walked back down the stairs, he walked back to, like, he was like, right, well, there's nothing here. Walked back down the stairs, walked back to the ranger station where he was based. And when he returned, he learned that he'd been fired from his job, and he didn't know why. And then when he looked into it further, he discovered that he had allegedly been missing for 5 years.
Okay, I don't believe this for half a second, but I really want it to be true. Because
Yeah,
that is
exactly
amazing.
how I feel about it.
Like, that is an amazing horror plotline.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
Ooh,
like, just phenomenal. I love this kind of, like, idea that it was the dog maybe being this kind of, like, mischievous sort of entity or demon or something like that was vicious, that kind of manifested because it knew that he was maybe potentially hesitating about going up the stairs.
Yeah. Well, it also reminds me of, like, kind of a joint, like, it reminds me a little bit of, like, the Doctor Who Weeping Angels. Like, maybe the staircase took his time from him as, like...
Maybe.
but then it also reminds me of, again, like, the incomparable Magnus Archives with the episode where the maid in the house in Oxford on Hilltop Road, like, loses, like, a year of time and ends up in, like, a different dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's good, actually. That's a good comparison, yeah. I love it. I love lost time stories, so I'm all there for them.
There's something about that moment when you can imagine someone, like, discovering that, like, no, you've been gone for years. Like, it's chilling.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Yeah, it definitely, like, lands differently, I think.
Oh, for sure. And like I said, I don't believe it for a second, but God, I want to.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I'm sitting here as well. So moving on to staircase number 2, story number 2. This one is an interesting one. It's from the 1940s. And so, this story takes place in the 1940s, but it's someone accounting from like a more modern time. So he's kind of telling a story about it.
Okay.
So this allegedly comes from a man who claimed to work for the CDC as an infectious disease specialist.
Okay.
And he claims that in the 1940s, and I'm going to apologize before I continue this, I know I'm about to lose you completely.
Okay.
So he said that in the 1940s, after the Roswell UFO crash,
Oh, God.
reports of animal mutilation started to surface.
Oh, God.
The CDC was called in to assist in the investigation, and it was only supposed to last 1 or 2 weeks, but allegedly lasted 6 months. And during that time, various people working in the field reported weird stares that were giving off some type of strange frequency. Mm-hmm. And to study them basically, as scientists should, they stationed a campsite about 30 meters away from the stairs and decided to spend the night. But when they woke up, the stairs had moved. And on the ground where the staircase had been was a dark black spot that appeared to be burnt. And they go on then to say that over the next 2 days, the stairs had reappeared, but 50 meters away from where they are. They decided to do readings, tried to get a sample of the staircase because it was wood. But when they tried to cut into it, they discovered it was harder than steel and they couldn't actually take a sample. The investigators allegedly said that the stairs emitted some sort of frequency, but they couldn't figure out why it was doing that or who was receiving it. And then 6 days after the stairs first appeared, they completely vanished and were never seen again.
Rob, this is just the plot of Tanis.
Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I look, as I said to you, I know I'm going to lose you on these stories, but it would be a shame for me to not share them with the world.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you exactly where it loses me, and it has to do with genre. Like, there are subgenres that are, like, interesting when you juxtapose or lay them over each other. Like Firefly, like spaghetti western meets space adventure, all that, like, that worked. What doesn't work for me is, like, we're talking paranormal, creepy, ghost potential demonic, in the woods kind of staircase. But I'm sorry, when you throw in aliens, it's too much. It's too much.
That's fair. That's absolutely fine. I respect that.
I can even get on, like, sure, fine. I'll get on board with the fact that aliens want to, like, take, I don't know, flesh samples from cows. But I just don't, like, they're not building staircases. They're not.
No, they're not, but I will. Why am I going to go down this road? The lost time element to it, I can get on board with aliens, because that is one of the most reported things from abduction cases is lost time.
No, okay, I have heard of that. Yeah, like I'll give you that as being part of that narrative. But
so I know I completely agree with you, by the way. But
okay,
I could see aliens potentially being an explanation in that stairs are something familiar that we know. So what I'm getting at is that maybe the stairs aren't actually there. It's like a hallucination or a projection. You think you're walking up a set of stairs, but what you're actually walking into, I don't know, like UFO or something.
The ramp of a UFO.
Yeah. Maybe that guy in the Philippines was, like, he walked up a set of stairs, lost all track of time, and then came back down and 5 years had passed. We'll never know.
We'll never know. I mean, we know. We know.
We know. Yeah, so swiftly moving on then to
exactly.
the penultimate story. This one is set in Sweden.
Okay.
So, again, shockingly, this is about a staircase in the woods. And it involves two Swedish students who were out hiking. So I believe their names are Axel and Isaac, but I refuse to accept that they're their names. So they've allegedly been hiking for a long time at this point, like a good few hours, when they come across a staircase in a clearing, like just way out in the wilderness, like miles away from anywhere.
Yeah.
They're both very puzzled by this, but they didn't know what to do. So Axel said that he wanted absolutely nothing to do with the stairs. He felt a sense of dread. He felt there was something wrong about them, just inherently, not like evil, but he didn't want to basically interact with the stairs in any way.
Right.
Isaac, on the other hand, though, was, as I saw described online, was much more daring. So he wanted to climb the stairs and decided that he would.
In this instance, you are Axel and I am Isaac.
Yes, 100%. So Axel stayed at the bottom of the stairs. Isaac decided to climb them. Allegedly, the instant his foot touched the top step, both students heard this blood-curdling shrill scream that was sufficient enough to make Isaac run down the stairs and both of them run away. Mm-hmm. So they stopped running after a while to kind of catch themselves and think about what had just happened. That was when allegedly someone put a hand on Axel's shoulder. He assumed it was Isaac, and he glanced backwards. When he turned around, though, he discovered that Isaac was actually standing behind him at a considerable distance away, much too far for an arm to reach him.
Okay.
At this point, then, Axel says he recalled the hand to have been cold to the touch, and he never saw the source of the hand, or has no explanation for it. That's it.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, there's like, it's kind of like harmless in the sense that, you know, nothing seems to have happened.
It remains intriguing though, because it's one of those stories that where you feel like where you find it like compelling because you think like they almost like initiated a ritual, or they almost stumbled upon something properly dangerous, but they were actually just kind of like brushed with the paranormal, which is also like interesting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's it kind of gives off a vibe that maybe they released something, I don't know, but it's super interesting. I like that one. Weirdly, I find that the most believable out of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If I have to like rank which ones like could be close to actually happening, that would be the top one.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to give you the conclusion to the Reddit story, and this will be at the bottom for believability.
Okay. Wait, it's gonna be less believable than the guy that went missing for 5 years?
Oh, Zeus. So the story that I opened with at the start of this podcast, I'm going to conclude with now. So the Reddit account, it's on the No Sleep subreddit. We know what that is. We know it's fictional, but I have to conclude it for you. So this is also like a 6-part story on No Sleep, by the way. It goes on for quite a while. And as I said, it's about this park ranger. This specific part about the stairs, it refers to, so this park ranger, he's kind of like a rookie, effectively, and he's out with an older, more grizzled park ranger who's basically like showing him the way how the world actually works. So when they're talking about a certain thing, though, the like older ranger he kind of opens up a little bit to the rookie, starts talking about his own experiences in the past of strange things. Mm-hmm. And he talks about in the past, he and another man found a staircase in the woods. They thought it was really weird and kind of were just like, what the fuck's this? The other man decided to climb to the top of the stairs. He held out his hand to basically like grab a branch, like a branch of a tree that was basically at the top of the staircase. Yep. And at that moment, something cut off his hand.
No.
So whatever caused this was a mystery.
No, Rob.
The clean cut basically made him bleed profusely, but no one could find the hand.
Oh, God.
And then finally the ranger concludes his story with a time when he saw a woman head up similar stairs. She complained that something felt wrong, and before they could go to like ask her what was wrong, she collapsed and died on the spot.
No,
and
Rob.
It was later determined that she had died from a fatal aneurysm.
You're right. I've noped out. No, Rob. There's no.
I know what I've given you. Don't worry.
Like, to be honest, like, the fatal aneurysm, like, that is, like, just someone, like, dying of, like, apoplexy, like, at a weird coincidental moment. Okay, but, like, the hand thing, no.
Yeah.
Like, what did he
so,
replace
yeah, that
his hand
kind of
with?
concludes it, basically.
Like, it sounds like you left out the part of the story where he replaced his hand with a hook and then, like, traveled through the forest trying to find vengeance on, like, wayward hikers.
Yeah, well, that's, obviously in the next part where he starts to really embrace his I know what you did last summer arc.
I was literally about to say I know what you did last summer. Oh, God. Okay, well, alright. I am compelled by the concept of what you've talked about today.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, like...
That's all you should be after this stuff.
Okay. Because, like, I could even, like... Sure, like, I think some of the stories are creepy. Like, honestly, like, the guy who, like, found out he'd been missing for 5 years, that concept is terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the actual, like, I don't know, it just seems like a group, a really interesting, sometimes not hitting the mark, group creepypasta post.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's mostly people just getting on board with this phenomenon and just really embracing it. It's kind of similar to like the kind of the Momo. Remember that thing from a few years ago, that like face that people were posting saying like, oh, if you see it, you're gonna die and all that.
Yeah, and then the one of my favorites that I do find really creepy is the one like that children's show that everybody says they've seen, but they like can't find evidence of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that like dark like Nickelodeon show or something like that. Yeah, exactly, that sort of thing. So yeah, that that concludes the story into Staircases in the Woods.
Oh God, I mean, it's interesting to think of something like a haunted house that without the house.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as I said at the start, I know what this is as I'm coming into it. Like, literally, its origins are fiction.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, 100%, I know where this was going, but I do find it very interesting. I find it fascinating, like, how this kind of fictional story just exploded and basically inspired so many different accounts of people being like, no, like, I've seen these. Like, these do exist. And to be honest, like, I do genuinely think some of the posts, not the ones I shared today, but I do genuinely think some of the posts that I've seen, like, it was just way too short to include. I do genuinely think that there are people out there who 100% have said, like, no, I've seen Staircases in the Woods. Like, they are creepy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, I'm sure they've got, like, pictures and stuff. Like, yeah, there are,
yeah.
even if you know, like, logically that, like, oh, this is just, like, the foundations of a house and these are just the stone steps that remain, it's still, like, a creepy sight.
And that's it. I think it's exactly what you said earlier, is that it's that liminal space of a staircase leads somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you come across a staircase that doesn't go anywhere, immediately it's going to trigger something in your brain, I think, of not necessarily like fight or flight, but that kind of the human desire for like understanding and needing like patterns and just kind of being like, this doesn't compute with my monkey brain, basically. Like, what is going on here?
I would say the scariest like manifestation of that I could imagine would, instead of a staircase going up, be a staircase that goes into the ground.
Oh, totally. 100%. That's going to be a no from me. 100%.
Oh, I 100% would not. Like, that would be the line for me. I'd be like, nope, not that curious. Like, just in case.
The fact that, like, even in haunted house films, that just the staircase leading down to the basement in a house that you can physically be in is the scary place to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's already scary enough. If you remove the house and still have a staircase going down into the ground, that's a no from me.
Oh, for sure. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. So you were worried about this episode. I actually think this was A, a lot of fun, but B, also just like a really interesting concept.
Oh, no. Like, it's great fun. Really, really good. I just didn't know how it was going to land, in the sense of, like, what am I talking about?
Well, I think what helps it land is the space that is the woods, and like the fact that so many people do go missing and are never found again, or are found dead, or what have you, like in wooded spaces.
I think that is probably the part that kind of hooks people in, is that like just enough level of believability in that people do go missing in the woods. I think you're right. Like, it's that kind of, there's just enough there that it can kind of just hook you in enough.
Yeah.
But
it's the same thing as like, and I don't hate to do this, but like I'll bring up the Magnus Archives again. It's a bit like doors appearing where they shouldn't.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I've seen plenty of pictures of doors just randomly in places as well that just make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very much so another kind of thing of, this does not belong here. Why is it here? And it's that kind of, yeah, I think you're right in that, like, human understanding of like, I need to understand what is going on here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I hope you've you've enjoyed this venture into staircases in the woods. I won't be revisiting it.
Well, I think we should revisit it, because I think whenever we like get our like lazy full-time employed asses around to like actually doing an like an on-site recording, I think we should 100% try and hunt down something creepy in the woods.
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Like, we do have that previous case that I talked about with that pyramid in the woods in Ireland.
Yes, we do. Oh god, we do have that, don't we?
We could go see that. So that might be a fun one to go to. There's also somewhere that I want to go that I have in mind that is another addition to the devil stories that we have of the devil popping up in Ireland.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, another interesting spot that we could go to. I won't share exactly where it is. I'll talk to you about it offline, but you know, it could be another spot to go where we're continuing our series of the devil just turning up, just having the crack with people.
Well, and I will say, like, one of the most hilarious things, at least for me and hopefully for the listeners as well, about that to know is that while we are in the woods with like portable mics, like debating whether or not something is paranormal or possible or whatever, 100% our spouses will be standing at a local bakery discussing sourdough.
Oh, my wife wouldn't even come with us. She'll just be like, "No, I'm good, thanks."
Oh, see, my husband will insist on coming because he'll be like, she can't be trusted to like not fall in a ditch.
Yeah, no, my wife will just straight up just be like, "Cool, have fun."
Yeah, say hi to the ghosts.
Have fun ghost hunting, dear. See you later.
Yeah, you fucking idiots.
Psycho.
Bye. Yes. Like, both of them just being like, God, I married a fucking psycho.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly how it will go. I have no doubt about it.
All right, well, that was great.
Yeah. I hope everyone listening enjoyed the insanity that was the staircases in the woods. I know I had a bunch of fun researching it. And by researching it, I mean just reading a few articles on Reddit. But it was fun nonetheless. I will post some pictures of the staircases in the woods for sure. And I'll link that initial Reddit thread that kind of like popped it all off from the beginning, because it was a good bit of fun to read. And as I said, it's like a 5 or 6 part story, not just on staircases in the woods. It covers all sorts of things. I think one of the stories is like a whale carcass just randomly appearing in the forest.
What?
Yeah. It's a journey.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to reach out to us, you can get in touch with us on the spookyaf pod at Instagram, or you can send us a lovely email to the spookyafpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts and theories on this, and let us know where you fall down on the staircases in the woods. Do you think they're real? Have you seen them yourself, actually? I'd love to hear about that.
Oh God, if you have pictures, like, please send them.
Please do send pictures. If you have pictures of staircases in the woods, I want to see them, and everyone should see them. And I'd love to hear your experiences if you have come across them. But yeah, apart from that, I hope you're all having a lovely day whenever it is that you're listening to this, and we'll see you in the next episode, guys.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.